Hey everybody, Steven here. For today's video, I'm going to show you how to do a one-leg lunge using a suspension trainer like a TRX. I have a Go strap here. So with this is one of those things that I love for strengthening the glutes. It also works on ankle stability as well. But I often see it done wrong with people at the gym or other trainers trying to instruct that. Now, for this, the first thing that I see typically done wrong is that people hold in tight when they're trying to do the movement. I see the same thing when they're trying to do like a pistol squat or just like a squat where they're like this. We don't want to do that. We want to make sure that the arms are straight here. We're trying to get all the emphasis on the glute, on the quad, whichever variation. If I'm doing a squat or something like that, we want to put the emphasis on the muscle that we're trying to hit and not distract from that by holding in tight. So I'm going to show the movement without any input here first. So it's just here, it's down and up, right? So for this, typically when I'm back here, first thing that I want to do is make sure that the arms are straight. I don't want to be holding in tight like we said. I want to be here, but I want to make sure that my shoulders lock down. I don't want my shoulders protracted, meaning that I don't want them forward like this, right? I want to retract that and keep that even. So I don't want to round it back in this position, right? I want to be here, nice and even. Now once I'm here, typically my foot's going to end up somewhere close to underneath my hands. It's not exact, but what you're actually going off of is once I'm here and I go down, I'm looking for this being a vertical line. I don't want to reach so far back that I look like this, right? And I don't want to be way forward where my knee is extending over the toe, because now we're just putting way too much pressure on it, right? So I'm here, I'm a good straight line, foot's in place. As I start to reach this leg back and I start to actually bend this knee, I'm looking for, hey, are we pretty close to a vertical line here? I'm upright, meaning I'm not rounded, right? I'm also not trying to pull too far back. I want to be as vertical or upright with my body as possible, so I'm really looking like I'm here. My knee typically might touch. I don't really put, maybe my foot touches, but I'm not really putting weight on it, right? All the emphasis is on this glute over here. So I'm up, coming down, I can tap, and then come up. Make sure you're going up and down and you're not pulling forward. That's an indicator for you're actually pulling in with your arms, and we don't want that, right? Here, down, up. Typically when I have clients do this, we're doing 8 to 10. Sometimes we may do a little bit less. I'm not loading this. I mean, you could put a vest on maybe or something like that, but I'm typically not doing that. This is plenty in terms of strength training for that glute, right? Like I mentioned, ankle stability with this as well. One of the other cues that I look for is that my foot's not turned off in an odd direction. I'm trying to keep that straight, right? Now, straight may mean something else for another trainer, another person. I preference the outside of the foot being a straight line, right? I go more off restorative exercise and Katie Bowman's system because this allows us to create torque with the knee. And what I mean by that is if my foot's here and I create torque, right? I essentially rotate that femur, locking that joint inside the socket here. My knee's this way, my foot's that way. I don't want that. With a slight tilt in, it creates a straight line on the outside of the foot. Now when I create that torque, I actually get the knee pit in alignment. Because remember, this is a hinge joint, right? It's doing this. I'm lining that up better, right? So when I'm here, it looks like my toes tilted in just a little bit. But if I'm looking to the outside of the foot, that's actually a straight line. It's a straight line going that way, right? Once I'm here, I have that. I'm going to take a deep breath into the belly, holding that intra-abdominal pressure, coming down, tap, up, squeeze the glute. I'm loading into the glute. I'm going to feel a lot of tension, drive off the heel, come up. I want my foot flat the whole time, my toes pushed to the floor. I don't want my foot raising up like this, all right? I'm breathing in as I'm going down, filling this with air. We call that intra-abdominal pressure, so I have support for my lower back in that position. And then I'm going to come out of that. Like I mentioned, typically what I see when somebody's doing this, it's like very in tight and they're doing like this, right? That's just a ton of pressure on your knee. And you're not getting to access the full amount on the glute, meaning I'm not really driving all of the tension there in the load, right? I'm using more of my arm, my lower back, my hips, all these other things. And I really want to focus more on just the glute, right? We're going to get some hip involvement, we're going to get some calf and all that other stuff. But I want to drive more of that weight and that load towards that glute and not towards other body parts, right? I don't want to actually be shifted and twisted and all these other things. Now, you will have a dominant planting foot and a non-dominant planting foot, right? Typically it's opposite of what you think. I am right leg dominant, meaning if I went to go kick a soccer ball, I'd actually use my right leg. But my planting foot is left, right? When I plant to kick that, boom. So what I really mean by that is I'm actually more hip dominant on my right side in terms of kicking, but I'm actually planting more with my left side. My left side is my more stable side. When I go to my right side, where that's the leg that's going to do the lunge, it just feels weaker. So I put a little bit more emphasis on doing that side, maybe for a couple of extra reps, maybe for an extra round, to try to build it up. Because I plant more so with my left leg and I'm kicking more so with my right, this is the more stable leg, right? Dominant planting foot, dominant kicking foot, right? Because of that, this glute is just stronger because it plants more through this, right? If I was just to do this kicking action, this glute, this side, this leg is doing more of the stability work on this, and this is doing more of the power work for the kick. So just understand that when you go towards your dominant side, it might not be as easy as you think. With that, I do pay extra attention to the fact that my foot really needs to be where it's at, because I could shift and move all over. Last thing I want is that I'm twisting my knee a bunch trying to do this lunge. You have to figure out where that sweet spot is for you in terms of getting that leg lined up. If I'm too far off base and I go to lunge, you'll fall a direction, right? You want to make sure that you understand where's that sweet spot on that foot so that it feels like you're getting more out of that glute and you're not just falling towards one side, all right? So this has been the suspension trainer one leg lunge tutorial. Hopefully that helps anybody out there. I use this a lot with the athletes that I train for ankle stability and glute strength, all right? And if you like the video, hit the like button for me. If you want to continue to follow along with all the other content that I pump out there, all the other videos, MoveNat stuff, supplement reviews, whatever it may be, hit the subscribe button for me. Thanks so much for watching.